Okay, so this is a session for specials, STEAM, art, PE, music, and we want to make sure that a few things that were covered in the 1 through 4 cycle, you get to actually see those in action. Things like cross-listing we'll go over. Instead of just saying, look at Andre's video, we'll actually go over that and show you how to copy the numbers over to a different course and put them into one. The crazy thing about your courses when they come over from IC, you'll get them from Infinite Campus, and a lot of times they'll have the same section number, the same hour. I mean, everything is identical except the grade. So for specials, we want to make sure that you can kind of lump those together and keep everything organized. So we'll get you cross listing. We're going to talk about creating a home page and have a couple examples to show you. And then one thing we'll do is the front page and home page, but instead of having, like you might have seen the kindergarten example in the 1 through 4 cycle, instead of having every day of the week, you'll want to stay away from dates and days of the week because you don't see your kids every day anyway. So make sure you stay away from that type of thing. And we'll just show you a few examples, and I'll share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, so this is one example we'll come back to, but I wanted to just show you at least he's got K through 2nd and 3rd through 6th. So what this means for cross-listing is all of his courses that are K through 2nd, he's going to have to do this cross-listing where you just pick one of them, doesn't matter which one, and you make it like your very first one you're going to start out with, and you choose your number based off of this URL address. This is going to be the number you grab. So we grab that number and copy it. And when we go to cross list, this is the same number we're going to use for every one of these when we dump them in together. So I just have a couple that I'm going to show you how to cross list with. And then the same thing you do 3rd through 6th, because it gets kind of crazy. Let's see what his courses look like. Let's do dashboard. Okay, this one's built out a little more. This is a newer one I haven't seen. He did a great job on this. And these buttons and everything, if you want to get fancy, we'll show you a little bit more on canva.com, which was probably covered in your 1 through 4 session as well. So we'll show a little bit more on Canva. And the good thing about your setup is you don't have to change this every week and make things completely different. It's going to say PE or your name up here, and it's going to be kind of the simple setup of you just changing the content or the background, what these things link to. Okay, so we'll stop acting as Coach Williams. We'll go to my dashboard. And so I'm going to choose between these two courses. I'm just going to pick this one. And you'll notice they come over looking the exact same. So the grade is going to make the biggest difference on these when they come across from IC. But I'm going to take this 5-digit code here and I copy that. This is cross listing. And what we do is we go back to any other course that we want to dump in here together. And I'm going to use this other music one. We go down to our course settings, and these are the icons that we went over in the 1 through 4 sessions. And sections we kind of skimmed over. Very few of us went through and took the time to show you cross listing because one, Andre has a video on it and you were just getting started. You hadn't built that anything or tried anything. So what we're going to do is this course here, we're going to go over to cross list, and I put this number in, and it looks grayed out, but what it's going to do is just find the course the first time I click cross list, and it wants to say, is this the correct one? and I just click cross list again. And now these are pushed together. On my dashboard, I might have clicked the wrong one, but that's how you cross list, is you make sure that you grab this code, and I might have dumped a different one in. But you copy that code and go to your other course, settings, sections, cross list, dump the number in, paste. And so hopefully that got us everything synced up. We're going to have 3 courses in there now as a total. But cross listing is pretty darn easy. Andre does have a video on our EdTech channel, and with everything else you have, you'll figure this out, because you're going to do it with the same number over and over. And then once you get to 2nd grade, you'll get to use that number over and over and over and dump those in. And then think about it this way. You're probably not going to do it by individual grade. A lot of you are going to, especially PE, you're going to want to do this probably as a chunk, like lower elementary and upper elementary. So like Williams had, you know, you're going to want to copy what Shane had there with K through 2nd and 3rd through 6th probably. So keep that in mind. However you want to break it up, that's how you'll cross list, and it keeps everything from getting junky. All right, so your dashboard is going to be cleaned up after you do that. We're going to talk about creating a page real quick. To make one of these kind of like, let's go with this one. To make a banner that comes across, you could spend some time in Canva and get the exact dimensions and things that work for you. But I'm going to tell you one of the tricks I found on a website. They were talking about Etsy shop covers. And if you get into canva.com, and remember, this is where we made some of those graphics in the 1 through 4 cycle. If you get in here and search for Etsy shop cover, it's going to come up with, instead of banners like this shows right now, it's going to show the extended, you know, across the top type banner. So we just pick one we like. And remember, you can change anything about this color wise. We can change this one from being red. We can change all of these to the same color if we want to. We can change the background color. Instead of black or gray, we could go lighter on that. The text color, we can change the text. So everything about this is able to be changed. And you want to change the name. You want to save it as something you can recognize, because this will go to your downloads folder. And then also, this changed just briefly. It said saving changes, and now it says all changes saved. Now I can actually download it. It's going to have the course name correct. It's going to have all the changes I made. And if you get caught in between here and hit download, it might not catch all your changes. So you might end up with something you weren't expecting. But download is going to give us this page you just click out of. And then we're going to open it in our folder and make sure it's there. It's in downloads. So back over in Canvas, what we'll do, I'll get to one of my other courses here. I'll use this one. Okay, so remember, these are pages, and pages is going to have this eyeball crossed out because you don't want students to have to see all this mess in the background. Andre even says, you know, with pages and modules, those things get so messy because we're using those in the background, and that's what the links are for on your homepage, is to make it easy to navigate. So to make this easy to navigate, we're going to use pages here, and we haven't even created one yet in this course. So I'm going to just name it, let's say, Etsy cover. And over here on images, I like to do it as an upload here. Choose file from location, just like you would any other upload online. You got to give it a name or an alternative text for ADA compliance. And when it dumps it in here, this is going to be a manageable size because even on mobile, it shrinks down to fit. So if we publish this, and let's go to view all pages, I'm going to show you on the three dots here, we can say use as front page. And what this does is it allows us to choose this to use as our front page, our home page. All right, so I'm going to go here now to choose home page. And what this does is it pulls up our pages, and let's see, Etsy cover, pages front page, save that. Now that's our home page. It's going to be viewable by the students. So I click student view, and this goes across a little bit more right now. They're going to have a to-do list and all that as well. But this shop cover goes pretty much across the entire top banner, and it shrinks down on the mobile view. So you'll have, easy transition from what your kids are looking at online at home, maybe on a phone, and what they're going to see maybe if mom or dad fires up the laptop or iPad or something like that. So the difference between all those is there. We'll stop viewing a student. And our home page, anything we change this to, any other page I try to make, I can just change it very easily to home page. I'm going to save and publish that. And then when we go, I'll go ahead and go to view all pages because it's easier from there to see that this one's selected. This one's our front page right now. All we have to do now is say use as front page and go home. Now that's our home page. Now that's not very text box and icon friendly. That's not going to get kids to the links they need. But that's just to show you how easy it is to change those front pages. So from week to week, you're going to be able to make those transitions pretty easily. We go back to use as front page, and we have the Etsy cover again. So whatever you choose as front page, but remember we had to do it here also. We had to do choose home page, and we had to choose the correct one there. We got Etsy cover. All right, so that's how we made it stick. Okay, so that's cross listing and front page, home page covers. Let's go look up Shane one more time. Okay, so here's one he's working on. He hasn't created any modules yet, but pages, let's see if he has anything there. No. Okay, we'll go back to dashboard. Once we click in here, this is what's built out so far. And he may or may not be using this one because he does have that second course built. So he may be going to import his other course content. All right, but this is built out with the table, and Wendy did a really great job in our 1 through 4 sessions talking about tables and how you can use them to kind of set up that website feel. You can even get rid of the lines and make it, just structured to where the content's in place and it looks like a website, but it's really just a table you've built out with the structure there and the lines and boxes. So with each cell, you can change colors and change fonts and do all types of things there. We'll go check out his other course and see if he has anything more built out. He still has the K through 2nd, 3rd through 6th. So let's see what he has here. Same thing, looks like a little bit less. contact information. Let's see if he's filled that out. Yeah, there we go. So he's going to put his contact info here. And to keep in mind, contact info, you don't have to have a school website anymore. Anything you do, like with distance learning in the springtime, anything you did there when it was put on the specials page on that section of the website, it wasn't on your specific page. So keep in mind, you don't have to have a school website of your own. And even on contact information, this is all built in to have an inbox, and it has email basically to where you could get an email from somebody, respond to it in your email, and it comes across back through Canvas. It's kind of like Incident IQ or Help Desk. You can respond to that email, and if you just respond directly back to it, it posts in the help desk. And so it's kind of a convenient way to have contact with parents and kiddos. So that's all we have there. We'll turn it over to Wendy. She has some things to show you. And it's been almost a month since we've done this training, so I have no idea what Wendy's about to show you. I've forgotten. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Wendy's co-host, so she's going to take over.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you remember what you're going to cover?
Yes, I remember what I'm going to cover, so
okay,
no problem. All right. One of the things that we're going to talk to you about is how to share your content with the students. So did I share the wrong screen? I've got two screens up here, so yeah, there we go. All right, so one of the biggest deals with you guys is how do I set these up and what do I do? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up one of my elementary sandboxes that I've got created here. And Rusty briefly went over cross-listing courses and how to set it up. So really you're going to kind of think about simplicity. And so you saw in the 1 PE course, he had taken every single one of his rostered IC courses and he had cross-listed them all together into one course card. So every student that's assigned to his PE class, when they open up their Canvas dashboard page, they will all see the exact same card. So this is my dashboard. I am enrolled in the MPS training course. So everybody enrolled in the MPS training course will see this card. So all of his students will see the same one. If you want to do separate cards for K through 3rd or 4th through 6th, then you would roster them and do your cross-listing separately, and then your K through 3rd would see a different card than your 4th through 6th. That's completely up to you and how you want to organize that. A lot of the specials teachers that I've been seeing on some of the forum groups have kept everything into one and then just did the links to the different groups. So let me show you what that's going to look like. So here's one of my my courses. I'm going to take this. I'm going to do one that's already cross-listed so you can see. So I have a sandbox here that I have cross-listed with some other sandboxes. And so you can see how to do the assignments individually. Make sure that this is the one. Yep. Okay, so I've basically combined 3 of my courses together using the cross-listing that Rusty showed you. So now when I build my assignments, I can pick one of those 3 groups. So if I add an assignment to my students, this is where you're going to build your content. So this is where you can add videos that you find from YouTube. You can add videos that you find of exercise routines or music lessons, any external source. You can put your own directions in here. What you saw on the 1 PE page is that he had created a table, and within that table he had different sections for each day. So he built a table that just had a bunch of different rows, and then he had his warm-up, and then he had another one, he had an activity, and he just built this table. And within here, you can add images that you create in Canva. You can add images that you create in Google Draw or Google Slides, anywhere else that you want to put those. Um, and so when the students open up this assignment, we will call this, you know, week 1. Normally you guys do your assignments by week, since you only see the kids 1 to 2 times a week. But down here, when we get to the assign, this is where you're going to be able to differentiate between the 2 groups. So instead of assigning it to everybody, which would assign it to every IC rostered class that you have, you can instead assign it to individual cross-listed groups. So let's say you're doing an activity for K through 3rd. You would simply assign it to all of your rostered classes that are K through 3rd. Then you would make a second assignment for your 4th through 6th for that week, and you would assign it to only the 4th through 6th classes for that week. So you can do those assignments back and forth, and that makes it a really easy to have everything in one course card, but still separate out your assignments. And you can even separate them out by grade. I mean, depending upon what you're doing, I know some of the music classes have it narrowed down where they have 3 or 4 different activities depending upon the grade level. So that right there in this assign to is where you differentiate which grade level and which class. Now, let's say that you want to embed some videos, some video instructions. So we're going to look at the embed real quick. Now, one of the things that I want you to do, we should have done it when you were doing the individual setup in the sessions 1 through 4. So we want to make sure that you have the YouTube app installed. So I'm going to go over that again just real quick. So from your course card, this can be your sandbox that you do now. And then when you get your rostered classes and you combine everything together, you can do it in that class as well. So you're going to go to settings, and instead of sections, we're going to go over to apps. And there are a ton of different external apps that you can add. You can go through these. I've gone through them. The majority of them require paid subscriptions. However, there are a lot of apps right now that used to be paid subscriptions that are offering the 2021 school year for free because of what's going on, hoping that you really like it and then next year you get your school district to pay for it. Be careful of this. Any app or any program that asks you for a student roster that we can't roster through Clever, we need to have some background information. So if you find an app that's normally a paid for app or any app that you want to add, go ahead and send an email to mpsedtech@moreschools.com so that we can kind of make sure that that's vetted, because Moore Public Schools actually has a higher level of student information security than the majority of districts in the United States. So we are very, very cognizant of protecting that student information. So that's just some information that I got this week I thought I'd put out there. So you would search for the YouTube app, and you can see in here it says installed. It's already installed in ours. If it wasn't, you would just click on the add app. All right, so now we've got YouTube. So we can go back to our assignment. Okay, let's just pick one of these assignments that I haven't necessarily, there's a good one that we did last week. So we just inserted an assignment within the middle of this. So this was for a STEM class. We found this video on Vimeo and we embedded it. So I'm going to show you how to do something like this. So we're going to do a new assignment. So we're going to click on the assignment tabs from our navigation, and we're going to add a new assignment. We'll give that a name. We'll say video up. This has just started coming up this week and I really like it. It's going to say, hey, you were working on something and you didn't save it. Would you like to go back? And this is that table that I created and I forgot to save it because I didn't really want it. So if you forget to save stuff, this has been popping up. It has saved me a couple of times. So we'll do video week 1. All right, so down here we have 2 different options. The first option is we can go to this extension cord is on the new rich content editor if you're using that. Otherwise, you should actually see the YouTube icon, this little button right here. So we're going to go ahead and choose a YouTube, and we're just going to do a search. Now this search works best if you know the name of the channel versus the actual name of the video. So for instance, if we wanted to search for Jack Hanna. It's going to search through and give us all of Jack Hanna's channels. Okay, so here's some animal bloopers, David Letterman show. Let's see if we can find some more recent ones. You got to be really careful with some of these. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's pick one. Here's 40 years at the Columbus Zoo. That sounds reasonable enough. So we're just going to embed this video within our assignment. Now, because we're using the YouTube app, the students don't have to leave our Canvas website and go to the internet. The entire video is going to be here. If you go to the YouTube channel and there's an ad at the beginning of the video, it crops that out. You no longer see those ads, so you don't have to worry about inappropriate material. So that's something really good. So you can upload a video of an exercise routine or a color art project or a STEAM video, and then you can give them some instructions at the bottom. Watch the video, write 3 things you learned, or you could have, if it's a PE video, you could say, watch the video, record yourself doing a jumping jack. Okay, now for this to be an assignment, you're going to need to receive some feedback from the students. So we talked about this in the sessions. You can do the submission type. You can either do an online submission where you allow them to either type their answer. They can record a video or audio of themselves performing the activity. Or if it's art, you can do a file upload where they take a picture of their finished product and then they show it to you. I usually do all 3 of these because we don't know exactly what devices the students are going to have at home. And so this allows them to kind of choose whatever works. Media recordings works best with cell phones, file uploads with computers, and then if they have a desktop computer that doesn't have a camera, then that text entry may be the only thing that they have to submit that feedback. Now, you can also use external tools. Now, the external tools are really nice, and if you click Find here, there's a couple that I want to show. One is Clever. So if your activity runs through a Clever app, like if you have a subscription, I think STEAM and art may have subscription services this year, so you would just send them to Clever. You can do a Google Drive Cloud assignment. So you can create a document in your Google Cloud, and then every student gets a copy of that document that they can edit on their own and then resubmit back. It also works with Office 365 Cloud assignments. So I can put a PowerPoint presentation or a Word document in here. They can make their edits and then send it back to us, okay? So there's a couple of different ones that you can put in here for feedback. One other thing that you want to make sure that they have unlimited submission attempts. And the reason that we do this is when the students start sending in that work, they're going to mess up. The parents are going to mess up. And this way they don't go, oh, well, I submitted it the first time, but I put in the wrong file, or I didn't put in all of the files, and you have to unlock it. So just leave this as unlimited attempts. You will be able to, let me change that back. You will be able to see all of their individual attempts in the Speedgrader, so you don't have to worry about, one replacing the other. You'll see all of those attempts. Okay, and then you would change that assignment to just individual groups. All right, now next thing, anything we do, we're going to save and publish. All right, this makes it visible to the students. So then we're going to, let's see, we have assignments is turned on this one. Okay, so we're going to look at the student view real quick. We're going to go to home. We're going to go to student view. We haven't put this in a page yet. I just wanted you to see the assignment. So here is that one that we just did. What do we call it? Video week 1. All of your students, and this is something that you may have to model in your classroom the first couple of weeks, are going to see that submit assignment button. So they're going to watch the video, they're going to read the instructions, and then they're going to submit the assignment at the end. So for this one, write 3 things that you've learned. You would come down here to the text entry, and you can simply type 1, 2, 3, the 3 things that you learned from the video. If the student's parents had them do this in Microsoft Word, then they could choose the specific file and they could update it. If they simply want to record themselves, they can click on Record Upload Media, and it brings up whatever camera is attached to that device, and they can record their response. They could also submit a Google Drive or an Office 365 assignment if, maybe some of your upper grades have already learned how to do that. All right, they would log into their school email address. All right, so let's just keep this to a text entry. All right. Now, once the students submit this assignment, they're going to get confetti, and confetti is pretty awesome. So it tells them that they have actually completed the assignment and everything has submitted. Make sure you model for them that if they don't see the confetti, they have not submitted the assignment, okay? Now, if something happened, they can resubmit that assignment. So they'll come down here, they'll resubmit it. This time, maybe they'll do a file upload. So they'll choose a file. Let's see, let's just pick an image and we'll submit that. They get the confetti again. So now they have 2 submissions, okay? So we're going to leave the student view and we're going to go back to your page and you're going to be able to see what it looks like in the Speedgrader. So we would go to the video, we would look at the Speedgrader. So once we're in the assignment, we can go straight to Speedgrader. And it's going to show us the assignments, okay? So this is an image that I was using in one of my web pages that I was building. So this is the assignment that they sent. I can also look at the different ones. So here's the first submission. And there's the texts that they sent. So not only can you see each individual submission, but you can see the timestamp. So you can tell exactly when they did that. So you can go ahead and give them, usually for you guys, it's just a completion grade or maybe a participation grade. I know a lot of you guys use the 1 through 4 schedule for specials. And so you can make this a grade out of 4 and that will link directly to Infinite Campus when you sync those. And so your grading is done. You can do this by daily participation if you want. You can also add a comment here and give some initial feedback. The parents will be able to see both the grade and the assignment if they're linked. So if you want to put a comment in, make sure that you understand that the parents are going to be seeing this as well. So you can go ahead and add a note for them if you're looking for help from the grown-up. Because, some of these are going to be, kindergarten, first grade, second grade students. So, okay, now I want to show you a second way to embed a video, and that can be a video that you find from anywhere, okay? So if we come here, we're going to just do a search, video, physical education, second grade. Now, hopefully you will have vetted these already, but here are some excellent. Here's favorite games, Miss Flynn's second grade class on YouTube. Here's a 3rd and 4th grade video on Vimeo. I'm going to show you on Vimeo just because we don't have an app for that. All right, so let's say that you find a video on Vimeo or any other app. You are going to go to that video and you are going to look for a share button. It's going to look different. Sometimes it's got just an arrow, a curved arrow. So you're going to click on that share icon and you're going to look for the embed code. So here I've got the embed code. I could add it as a link to my page, but that's going to send the student out of my Canvas page onto the internet. And for some of our littles, we don't want to do that. You can also send it in as an email if you'd like, but again, that's not what we're looking for. We want to embed the code. So this is the actual HTML code, creates a frame, and the frame size is right here. The width is 640 pixels, the height is 351. If you want to change that, you can here, okay? And we're just going to select this entire embed code, and we're going to take it over into our assignment. So let's edit this one, and instead of Jack Hanna's, we're going to go ahead and put this embed code. So I'm within my page. I'm in the Rich Content Editor. I'm going to come up here to the icon that says Record or Upload Media, and I'm going to upload Hey, Karen, can you mute? Awesome, thank you. Okay. So instead of uploading a file, and you can, if you have an MP4 file that you've created on your phone or your iPad of yourself doing it, you would just upload that MP4 file. So you would click on this and find an MP4 file. This is one of my Zoom recordings. You can also actually record it right here. So you can record your own video from your iPad directly into the assignment and not have to worry about saving it or transferring it. But what we're going to do is we're going to embed this. So we're just going to paste that embed code into our assignment, and there's our video. So the students have access to the entire video without having to leave your Canvas page and go out onto the crazy, crazy wild web. Okay, and we would save that, and then the students would see it just like anything else. Okay, so those are the big things that we wanted to cover. I do want to discuss with you a couple of ways that you can set these up, because there are 5,000 different ways to organize your Canvas courses. So let's go to the home. Now you can see here, here's an example I did for a 5th grade class. I made a banner in Canva and we had some clickable links. So let's go ahead and let's go to Pages. And let's look at a couple of different ways that we can organize this. So we're going to go to View Pages. We're going to create a new one. All right, so the first thing that we're going to discuss is how many pages and how do you organize it. So one thing that you can do is you can have a single home page, kind of like they did for the PE class, and that page always stays the same, okay? So this would be our home page, and so that was the page that had how to contact the teacher. Actually, I can kind of show you this one. It has how to contact the teacher. It's going to have your different icons showing you which grade level that the kids are going to enter in. It's going to have a link to your syllabus. It's going to have a link to what you want the students to know about navigating your Canvas page. So let's say if I have a table here, the table is just for anchoring everything. So we're going to take this top row and we're going to merge those together. And so within here, we're going to go ahead and insert an image. So I have some here that I did yesterday. Let's see. That was the contact. Let's see. Let's do this. All right, so we just made a little banner here that we can use in our table. And then underneath that, we could put images that we want to make into buttons. So you can either have text or images to be your buttons. I would definitely, for the lower grades, encourage using images because they're pre and emerging readers. For your 5th and 6th graders, you can probably just do text buttons. So let's go ahead and we're going to just find some quick buttons. So let's just search here for art. So we may have a couple of buttons here for different art, and these are going to be our clickable links. So let's insert another image. And you would choose images that are relevant to the link, but we're just going to throw some in here real quick. So let's say you're doing an art course. You would have 3 images, and then each of these images, if you noticed, they were all resized to fit perfectly in your table. That's one of the great things about using a table, is that as long as your images are larger than the cell that you're putting them in, Canvas knows to go ahead and resize those and make them all the right size. Now, if you're doing this in Canva, you can just create the images using the same pixel size, or you can come in here and you can go to image options and you can change the sizes to make them all the same. Okay, so you would have, let's say this is your pre-K through 2nd, this is 3rd and 4th, and this is 5th and 6th. So you would make a new page to link each of these. So this is going to be your standard home page. Nothing ever changes here. You have your class differentiation right there. So you're going to save this one and you're going to create a new page. So that's home page 3. We're going to create a new page and it's going to be for K through 2nd. Okay. Same thing, we're going to add a table. We're probably going to add a banner up at the top. If you keep things consistent, then it all looks nice and neat for the students. And we are going to insert an image here. Oh, I did one for Westmore High School that was kind of nice. I'll put that one in here. There we go. So we've got an image up here at the top. And so now I can create the icons like they did in the physical ed teacher. So we could have a little button here for colors. Okay, so we're going to insert an image. Let's do blue. Let's see if we can find just a blue. There we go. So let's say we're exploring the color blue today. So we would put in a little blue icon there. And we could add text on top of this. If we were in Canva, we could do whatever font that we wanted. And so you would build your table with links and nice pretty buttons, or you can just do text messages. So let's say that this was week number 1 assignment. Okay, so that can either be a button link or it can be an actual text link. So we're going to save that. And now we're going to create the assignment. Okay. So this is where we would put that assignment for the week. So we're going to, I know this is, we're kind of building these in steps. So your home page, where everything is going to land when they first open up your dashboard. Then if your home page has you splitting out, you'll make a page for each of those split out groups. So pre-K through 2nd, 3rd through 4th, 5th through 6th. If you have any other button like contact me or your syllabus or anything else, those would be individual buttons as well. And you would just make a page for each of those. What you want to do is you want to make a page for absolutely everything to be clickable until you get to the actual assignment. The assignment is the only thing that the students are going to see that's not a page, all right? So here, we would go ahead and link, let's link that assignment that we just created. So I'm going to click this text, and I'm going to go to a link for a course link. If you don't have the new rich content editor, it's going to be over on the side. And we're going to add that assignment, that video week 1 that we just created. Now, for the littles, if you have an image, then you would add the link to the image. So you would click on the image, and then you would do the same thing. You would add a link to that assignment. All right. So now we have our K through 2. We have our first assignment put into our page. So this page here is our K through 2 art. Let's call this week 1. Once you get that built up, so you have week 1, all of the activities or all of the assignments that you want the students to do in that week, you can simply take that page and you can copy it. All right, so don't reinvent the wheel every week. So once you have your K through 2 art week 1, come over here and we're going to duplicate it. And so now, instead of calling it week 1 copy, we're going to come in here and edit that name, and we're going to call it week 2. So once you get it the way you want, you can simply duplicate it over and over again. And then the only thing you have to do is you just change the links on each one. So on week 1, you would link week 1's assignment. On week 2, you would link week 2's assignment. It keeps everything nice and clickable, and it makes sure that everything that you're doing is something that the students are easily able to navigate through. All right, so let's go to our home page. Now that we have our breakouts, we can go ahead and add those to the links. So here's the home page. Now, this first image would be our pre-K through second. So we would click on this image. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can see everything. Click on this image, and we're going to insert a course link. And instead of the assignment, we're going to go to that page. So let's go to K through 2, week 1. And then if we had a separate page, we would link it to maybe the 3rd and 4th. So we would add a link to that page. We can call it this one. Okay, and we can do that. Each image can link to a different page. All right, let's see. We'll just link to a page that's already there. So now, let me show you what that looks like from a student standpoint. So we're going to go back to the home button. We're going to make sure this is our old home page. We're going to change it to our new home page. So just like Rusty did, we're going to choose the home page. Instead of the welcome page, we're going to change it. We're going to change that to our home page 3. All right, and now when we go to the home page, we see that page that we just created. All right, so now let's go to student view. So this is ultimately what we want to happen. We want the students to log in and see our first home page. This is going to be information for the course, and then these buttons are going to be buttons that tell the students where to go. So this button would say K through or pre-K through second. They would click this button and it would take them to the K through 2 Art Week 1. They would click the link that you've created and it would open the assignment for that week. And they could simply watch the video and submit the assignment. That's really all you guys have to have for specials. You need a home page that lets you split up into your different groups. And then within each group, a link to that week's assignment. That is really the extent of what you're going to have to do. So I'm going to go ahead. We have about 12 minutes left. So we can open it up to any questions. If there's anything that I went too quickly through, we are videoing this. I'm going to go ahead and leave my screen share up just to make sure. Okay, yes, there was a comment, can we use Loom? Loom is fantastic for you demonstrating the material yourself. So I actually have a Loom account. I will go ahead and open that up for you. So Loom is like Screencastify. It allows you to record your video, audio, and your computer screen. I've actually used it in the classroom recording my presentations on the smartboard. So if you do any work with the smartboard, Loom syncs to that really nicely. So I would, let me scroll down here. So I had a PowerPoint presentation that I used in class. I used the Loom extension. So once you create a Loom account, use your Google school email address. It would add a Loom for Chrome extension. And so I would pull up the PowerPoint presentation or the slides, Smart Notebook, whatever you're using. I would click on this Loom icon and it would record either the screen and the camera, or it would record just the screen and the audio, whatever I wanted. And so that was always amazing. Oh, I'm already using the camera, so it's telling me that I'm denied, but that's okay. Once you record your videos with Loom, you have a couple of different options. You can add a link for any video that you have. Okay, let's just skip that for now. We're going to turn that one off. Okay. Any actual video that you have, there's a couple of different ways that you can share it. You can add a link directly to the video so that the students will be transferred off to Zoom, or there's that share button again. Okay, so you can take it and you can embed that Loom video in your assignment just like you would any other video. What I like to do though, Loom allows you to save 25 videos. After that, it starts deleting the oldest ones to save your newest ones. I download it and actually put it into my own YouTube channel. And then you can just use the YouTube app within Canvas to link to each individual video. So those are some different options. You can either link it, or you can embed it, or you can download it and then just upload it directly into Canvas. So let's say I download this file. It's going to save a .mp4 file onto my computer, and so I would just insert that as the embed media. So those are all great questions. Okay, I made a Google slide to use as my home page. It has buttons with grade levels. How do I move it over as my home page? Okay, a lot of elementary teachers are doing Google Slides, and those are great. So one of the things about Google Slides, and I can show you the back half of it, but not the front half. So when you create a Google slide, you're going to publish the slide. And actually, I think I may have made one to demonstrate this to someone else. Okay, so let's say that you have a Google slide. I'll just open one up. When you publish it, it actually gives you an embed code, okay? So you can either share it. I'm trying to remember, I'm not a Google Slide teacher, but when you publish it, it will give you an embed code, and then you use that embed code just like you would in the media. So if I was going to add my Google Slide to my home page, I would go to my pages, I would open up my home page, and instead of inserting this banner, I would embed the code for my Google slide. Now, there's one thing about this that we have found out. Google Slides are super easy to do. It's very easy to embed a bunch of links to small images within Google Slides. And if you embed the Google slide into your home page as an image, then it allows you to maintain those links. You can't just copy and paste it or save it as a JPEG or a PDF. You actually have to go up here and embed that Google slide code. Any link that you use with Google Slides is going to be an external link. It's going to send you outside of Canvas. You cannot do embedding links like we did with YouTube within those Google Slides. So sometimes there's some accessibility issues with that and taking them outside. One thing that I suggest is, I love Google Slides. Make your banner in Google Slides or Google Draw, and then make your buttons in Google Slides and Google Draw. And each button can have an embed code or an internal link or a YouTube video, and that will help keep it within Canvas if at all possible. So those are great questions. Let's see, here's one. So for therapy, when assigning our caseload, we would go to assign sections, select the student option, and find the specific student. Okay, so therapy, I'm going to ask you to join the special ed training that I'm doing next week. We'll be sending a notification out through Kim Hurd. So you might want to get with Kim Hurd on that one. And I'm going to show you exactly how to set that up for individualized students. So for therapy, that's going to be very close to that. But everything else is going to be the same. Yes, you're going to, actually, if you could let me know, Sincera, are you doing rostered students or non-rostered students? If you can add that to the chat.
I think they're rostered students.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. All right. So if you have rostered students, instead of having images here for pre-K through second, second through third, fourth and sixth, whatever, those numbers didn't make sense. You can actually have links to individual students. And so I can show you one that I built for some of the special ed teachers real quick. So the special education, this would be their homepage. They had a banner there. They would have all of the individual links. And then this to-do list is where you link to the actual students' pages. So each student would have an individualized number, since your plans are going to be very student individualized. So when they click on their student number, it would take them to their individualized therapy plans. So that might be something that you wanted to look at. So I'm going to be going over that a little bit more next week. But that's a great question. So yeah, this is one that I just did the other day. So this can kind of show you. So for specialist teachers, it's going to kind of look the same way. You're going to have a banner and you're going to have your different images, and each image is a link. So this is a link to the announcements on this particular page. This is a link to a page that has teacher information. This is a link to Canvas help if you wanted to do that. And then this is a link to the school website. And then they would come in here, and these buttons would be your different levels. And so each one would have a different level of activity. So great question. Anything else? You guys are really quiet. That's the shortest chat I have ever seen. All right, I'm going to stop my share. All right. Rusty, I leave it to you. You can put that survey up.
The only other thing I can think of is as I paste this survey in here, I'll just remind you what Shannon Thompson said about specials being different is you want to have probably, just in case we go distance learning, you're not going to be teaching from this every day, but you're going to want probably 5 to 10 lessons, and that covers like 5 to 10 weeks for you guys. If you think about how often you see your individual grades and students and classes. So keep that in mind. Try to have between 5 and 10 lessons created, and that'll get you covered for 5 to 10 weeks. And from there, we'll just, you know, I have no idea if we'll be out. It's just, you got to plan ahead. So that's why we're doing these trainings. Okay, the survey's in there. That's how you get your PD point. So be sure you click on that link and complete that. We'll give you a second there. And if you have anything else, ask away.
All right, Bobby Duncan said, for the parent expectation letters, would it be better to copy and paste versus a document? You cannot copy and paste in Canvas. Everything in Canvas has to be a saved file. I would, however, save that as a PDF and then upload everything as a PDF so that the parents don't edit any of your work. That's always the best thing to do. So when you open up a Word document, you can print it to PDF, or you can do a save as and save it as a PDF. And then upload that one. So great question. And we have office hours starting this week from 6 to 8 p.m. So as you start building this, if you run into any additional issues, you can always go to the EdTech calendar. And I think, are they just doing that Wednesdays and Thursday nights?
No, every night of the week.
Okay. And so you can go ahead and even on Friday.
Yeah, Andre has Friday.
Awesome. Okay, so Monday through Friday from 6 to 8, you know, get your kids fed early, get them off, you know, watching a TV show or playing outside, and then get on, and every day of the week is a different EdTech specialist, and they can help you with this. We're still working on the Quaver integration. We've sent that to Michelle Hammond, who does our Clever integration, so we're working on that one. Let's see. Use those Canvas guides. Those Canvas guides have excellent images and text instructions that show you exactly what it looks like once you actually have student data. And sometimes that's not something that we can show you with an actual sandbox. All right. Anything else?
All right, Christian, we'll try that link one more time. See if that gets it. Just click on it and fingers crossed.
Okay, how to add text over an image. Okay, so let me do that. That one you're going to have to use an external app like Google Draw or Canva, but that's not a problem. So let's come over here and open up Canva. So if you already have an image that you want to use, you can upload it to Canva. When I make my buttons, I have found that a good button dimension is either 150 by 150 or 200 by 200. So I just make a little custom button. And then I come down here to elements and I use a frame. And so you can see these frames give you, this is the one I used for the WHS button. You can just do a round frame, which makes it super easy. So let's say we're doing physical activities. For the little kids, I actually like to use the icons. And so I'll just do a little running, you know, this would be great for a PE class. I can change the background color, and just simple is better sometimes. And then I'll come over here to text, and you can pick a good font. Oh, I'm glad you said this. Okay. So some of these say free for mine, but they say pro for yours. And the reason is that I signed up for a Canva for Educators account, which gives me all of the pro options for free. So it's really cool. So you can pick a text font and then you can change this. So that could be your K through 2 button. And then it's that simple. So when you download it, I choose transparent background. You cannot do that unless you have the Canva for Educators account. And then I download that and that gives me my button with text. So it's super easy. And then you can go in and you can choose some templates. Like if you like these, then you can add those. And that could be your button. And then you just change this graph. And your button is done. And then when you save that button, you can add those into your canvas. So let's go back to that dashboard. And we'll put them into this one. So instead of having the buttons that we just kind of randomly put in, we can add those buttons that we just created. So I would input an image. Okay, so notice it's a little small, so I can go ahead and make those larger just by changing the size. And then I can center it. And there's my buttons. And then I'll put that second one in there. So nice and easy. And you can play around with it to get the sizes the way you want. And then you would just make each of these a clickable link. So this one, we would do the same thing. We would link that to the K through 2 page that we created. And so when the kids saw the K-2, they would click that and it would take them to their age appropriate assignments for the week. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. Is it okay to create your homepage on the syllabus page instead of a course page? I don't think, let me check and see if you can set the syllabus up as your homepage. That's a great question. So when you set your homepage, you can set your syllabus as your homepage. You would just click this and then whatever syllabus you've created would be your homepage. So that's definitely an option. Should we put how to navigate our course video on our pages for kids that might enroll during distance learning? Absolutely. That should be on your homepage at all times. So if you look at the one that I did for special ed, it's show you where they put that. So on that, it would be under the teacher contact. You could put it as one of these buttons. What is this for? Or your Canvas help, you can just create a button that shows how do I navigate this page. That's definitely, and actually gear those towards the parents as well, not just the students, because the students are going to kind of see you modeling those, but even for the kids that are in your class for a specific amount of time, you're going to have that kid, and you probably already know who he is or she, who's going to go home and tell their parents, I have no idea how to do this. I've never seen this before in my entire life. So if you put a little video for the parents too, then it kind of eliminates that confusion. So. All right, well, I think that's about it.
All right, we appreciate everybody showing up. Make sure you get your PD point, get that link, and then anything else you need, go to the office hours we have every weekday from 6 to 8 p.m. Somebody will be on to help. So we can log into your Canvas, you can share your screen, we'll get it figured out, okay? Thank you so much, guys.